I deserve. We are joined by the Southern Illinois Salukis. Same as what we've done in the previous sessions. We'll introduce the two players and head coach. Then we'll get underway with a statement by Coach Mullins. We have Xavier Johnson, Troy D'Amico, and head coach Brian Mullins. Brian, if you could get us started with an opening statement, please.
Yeah, excited for this upcoming year. It's been a great summer, a great fall with these guys. Really excited about this year's team. I think we got a lot of length and versatility. It's been in terms of the guys' mindset, their work ethic, their mentality. Couldn't ask for a better 4 or 5 months so far. I'm really excited about our schedule. Got a challenging non-conference schedule that should help us prepare for the Valley season, and I think the Valley is going to be as strong and as deep as it's been in quite some time. So, overall, 20 days away. I think these guys can't wait. I know as coaches, we're looking forward to playing someone else as well.
Just like we've done in the previous sessions, we would ask you please to ask your question via microphone because we do have a Zoom audience as well. Questions for the Salukis?
Coach, you've had a very veteran-led team the last few years since you've started at SIU. So in that vein, what do you expect the role to be of the freshmen, Sheridan Sharp and Kennard Davis? A lot of the fan base is very excited about Kennard Davis. What kind of role do you expect those freshmen to play this year for your program?
Yeah, both those guys, they come from winning programs. They both won state championships. Really excited about them. They've had great summers. They've changed their bodies, both of them. I think they both, bring a level of toughness, competitiveness to our program. They both have an opportunity to make an impact for us this year. And, I think these guys and the rest of the teammates love playing with them. So they got great energy about themselves. So they're going to be really good players in this league for the next 4 years.
We have a question in the front, and then we have a question from Zoom. Paul.
Brian, the transfer portal is a thing, right? You were hit by it. But, those two guys graduated. So what do you like about the transfer portal in terms of the guys you brought in, and just how do you move on from losing, two key players there?
Yeah, Marcus and Lance played here for 4 years. They both graduated. Marcus was an academic All-American. They did an outstanding job representing the program. So, I think all of us wish those guys best luck in their last year here. In terms of what I like about it, I like Xavier, being able to bring X in last year, being able to bring in Clarence, AJ, Jovan, Trey, Jarrett, RJ. So, you're able to bring in guys who, want to be part of something special, guys who are very talented players, and you're able to kind of keep the continuity within your program for the returning guys. And, so there's definitely big-time benefits for it. And, I think for us, it's always just about finding the right fit. It's not, about kind of where you came from, whether it's high school, junior college, grad transfer, regular transfer. It's just finding guys that we feel like would be great Salukis and guys who would, do well in our program, the way we work and the way we practice. So I think we've been able to do a really good job of that over the years.
Our next question comes from Zoom.
Brian, can you hear me?
Yep. What's up, Bucky?
Hey, how you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, doing okay here. So far in the fall camp, have you been able to figure out or find out things about certain players of this team that maybe you didn't know about when the summer ended?
Well, we've taken a lot of big steps. I think we're continuing to learn about our team. We've had different guys kind of in and out here in the fall, so we're still, in terms of rotations, lineups, that's still really not decided yet. But in terms of the development, especially of the new guys into our program and even some of the returners, all those guys have made big-time improvements from June to August and now, going into October and November. So that's been a really positive about, probably the last 4 or 5 weeks with practices and kind of the end of the preseason stuff.
You mentioned the schedule. Oklahoma State and St. Louis at home, trip to Wichita State, the Cancun tournament. How good a test do you think that schedule is going to be to get you ready for the grind of the Valley schedule?
I think it'll be a great test, be able to play those teams, to be able to, kind of go through that non-conference schedule. You throw in on the road at Indiana State and the mix of all that stuff. I think we'll be prepared, obviously, for after Christmas and to be able to play the other 19 league games. So, we try to do that every single year with the non-conference, try to help us prepare us for the Valley season. I don't think this year's schedule is any different. I'm excited for our fan base, for our community, to be able to have the type of home games that we have this year. Very rare, very hard to be able to get, even a St. Louis, but especially, obviously, Oklahoma State to play, a true road game. So, really excited about this year's schedule.
We have one more question on Zoom, and then we'll go right over here.
Hey, Coach. John Titel from Hoops HD. Just following up on the schedule. I'm sure it's nice to have a good home schedule in February in the Midwest, but how do you feel about going to Mexico next month?
I feel I'm excited, I guess. Probably not as excited as these guys, but it's a great event. Bradley was in it, I believe, last year. I know Coach Jacobson, Northern Iowa's done it in the last couple years. You get national televised games on CBS Sports. We play James Madison, who's going to be a top program this year, and then obviously on the other side you got Fresno State and New Mexico State, who are really quality programs as well. So just in terms of the competition that we get to play there, and then just the experience, for our student athletes, I think it'll be a great trip for our program.
Thank you for your patience.
Troy, how's it going? This one, we'll start out with you. You've been in the Valley a couple times, right? It's not your first rodeo going through a preseason poll, first team, second team, third team, those get announced. What can you tell me about being in here in this conference for a couple of years now, what that looks like for you, and if it means anything to you, and if it doesn't, what does today kind of signify for you?
Yeah, no, this is my third year in the Valley. It's a great conference. I love it. Being here is an honor, and just being my third year, I think I know what to expect. I can bring a sense of leadership to the team and kind of control them and keep the waters calm when things go wrong.
And yeah, Xavier, kind of being picked in the middle of the conference, like what can you say about seeing that poll, seeing the players that are on there? Like what does it mean to you, or what's your reaction kind of off the cuff, like seeing all that?
It doesn't bother me at all, to be honest, but it's good to see that because we have a lot of work to do, so it just challenges us every single day to just prove everybody else wrong.
Well, this is for Xavier. Kevin Lehman with Valley TV. Last year, Defensive Player of the Year. Marcus and Lance move on. How's that change your role this year? And also talk about your adjustment coming to the program last season.
The adjustment is just taking a step up, just being an older guy, being my fifth year, just taking that next step, just to be a leader, and just trying to set the tone and make sure I'm leading guys in the right direction and showing them what they need to do so we can be successful as a team. The adjustment, I think the guys last year did a good job welcoming me in and kind of showing me what the Valley was going to be like and setting the tone. And so I kind of know what to expect, so I kind of take it from those guys, and now I'm trying to pass it along, and I have the help of Troy and Trent as well, so I'm just looking forward to it.
Brian, when you played here, consistently this league was getting multi-teams into the tournament. I don't know how involved you were with scheduling at Loyola, but in terms of the last decade in your position, how have you seen scheduling evolve and maybe become more challenging in just trying to get non-conference games that can benefit you trying to get back to the tournament?
Yeah, it's a big change. I think last year our league had 4 or 5 teams that could have won games in the NCAA tournament. I think with the net, it's just different. It makes it harder for our league to be able to get multi-bids because of the quad ones, the quad twos, because of offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency. Usually our teams with the RPI compared to the net, we're much lower in the RPI than the net, and that's challenging, I think, for non-Power 5 schools all across. In terms of the scheduling aspect, like I mentioned, it's almost impossible to get a Power 5 to come to your place, and that's why it's extremely rare for us to be able to have Oklahoma State here. So you got to challenge yourself in terms of the non-conference, but you also got to set yourself up to have success in the conference season, because you got to be successful in the conference season to get in that large bid as well. You can't, do well in the non-conference and then go 15-5 or 14-6, that's probably not going to get in that large bid either. So those are some of the challenges right now, but it doesn't, because we might not be getting as many at-large bids from this league right now, it doesn't mean we don't have as many good teams as we used to have. It's just, I think, the way we're evaluated and some of the system and how it's been. But like I said, I think last year with the teams that we had a lot of teams that could have had success in the NCAA tournament.
Coach, I think every fan base in the league outside of yours is just asking, how did you get that Oklahoma State game to where they're able to go to your place? Just what goes into being able to land a program like that when, like you said, it's extremely rare these days?
Yeah, luck. A lot of luck, and then end of September type scheduling. You try to keep waiting. And Coach Borden, I mean, he's one of the, in terms of people in this business, first class. They struggle too because of where they are location-wise, because of their scheduling parameters. So they've done it a couple times. They went to Oakland the previous year, and they needed a home game desperately. And for us, it was just an opportunity we couldn't pass up. So it's very hard to do. And there's definitely some luck involved with it.
We have another question from Zoom.
Hey, this is for Troy D'Amico. Troy, this is Bucky with the Southern Illinoisan. How are you doing today?
Good, you?
Doing okay, thanks. How I know we talked about this a little bit in the during the summer workouts, but how different is this for you this year? Because there's going to be a lot expected of you. You're kind of expected to be a key contributor to the team. How much are you looking forward to that challenge?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I knew that coming into the year that I was going to have to step into a bigger role, and so I kept that in the back of my mind. Workouts, practices, all that. But at the end of the day, it's not really what I'm going to be focused on or thinking about during the games. It's just how can we get W's and just trying to win.
Another thing I was going to ask too, just the same question Xavier was asked a few minutes ago about the preseason poll. What's your reaction to the team being picked to finish 9th?
It definitely adds a little bit of fuel to the fire. Makes us want to work harder every day in practice, gives us an extra chip on our shoulder. So honestly, I think the only thing that comes out of it is good for us.
Thank you.
We have less than 5 minutes remaining in our session here with the Salukis. Troy, I have a question for you. Obviously, you played in the league multi-years. You played an 18-game conference schedule the year before, 20-game schedule last year. Obviously, every game has its level of importance. Anything from a player's perspective that you saw differently playing 2 additional conference games?
No, honestly, from my freshman year to last year, I felt both the seasons were pretty similar, and I didn't notice anything different with the 2 extra games, to be honest.
Okay. We have one more question here.
Oh, Brian, I asked you the same question. You played in this league. It's 18 games. Coach is 18, then last year went to 20. So what difference does it make for you as a coach and how you approach that season?
In terms of approaching it, I don't think it makes your approach is probably similar. I think having those games before Christmas is just different. Being able to play a Valley game or 2 Valley games for a lot of teams this year, and for us last year before Christmas, kind of first week of December. Your team's different. First week of December compared to first week of January, and definitely obviously in February. So I think that's just a little bit different about it, but the approach is the same. It's going to be a grind. It's just probably more of a grind now with 20 games, and everyone beating up on each other a little bit more and being ready to go. So I think just having those 2 games in December is just probably the biggest difference in terms of when you're going through non-conference that first month, and then you got 2 conference games, first week of December, just kind of making sure the guys understand the conference season starts, first week of December now instead of, after Christmas.
Brian, Xavier, and Troy, thank you very much. This concludes the interview.